camouflaged question. We tend to think of these oil companies as big, powerful, like Exxon, Shell, right? We think they're some of the biggest companies in the world. But do they actually have the pricing power in this market, or are they actually relatively small compared to national players?
I would say, you know what? I wouldn't have the numbers to prove that. Say, like I wouldn't know what supply of oil comes from, say, Shell or one of these companies specifically. I would say that they probably have more supplier power in this current environment than they might have had, even just a few years ago.
Mm.
Uh, Especially with, you mentioned Russia. When
Mm-hmm.
you have this big world power pull out
Oh, yeah,
their
okay.
oil supply, well,
Yeah.
heck, you're in a much better situation. And hey, maybe you don't bolster production right away and you just reap in the profits. I do think it has more to do with their kind of investor focus, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of oil and gas companies have had very depressed valuations for quite some time.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a point that Eric Nuttall, again, that very pro Canada oil and gas investor, what he made in his presentation is a lot of companies just think that they'll get better returns on capital, returning money to investors as opposed to just building more production. Because at the current level of production, so you could say it's that keeping the supplier side of it, but I think companies like Shell are more so worried about what do our investors want and how do we appeal to that. And I think a lot of the answer for the super majors is, well, we're going to invest more in green initiatives as opposed to building out our supply, because their stock price was punished for quite some time for being in oil and gas. So
Yeah.
I think it has. I would speculate. This is total speculation, but I would
Please
speculate
do.
it has more to do. I would guess it has more to do with that side of it, because these stocks, at the end of the day, they do want their valuation to increase. And when you have companies like Tesla and green style companies earning a stock premium because they are green focused, even if they aren't as profitable, these companies get sort of a valuation premium to them, whether it be renewables, renewable utilities, whatever have you. So I think companies like Shell look at that and they think, well, geez, like if we want to see our stock price improve, we're going to expand our renewable and our green presence. And, to some degree, there's benefit in that. And, a big part of our transition is going, a lot of people, they take an all or nothing approach, just like investing, I guess, where it's all or nothing. It's either we go all green investments tomorrow or next year, or the world ends. And, there is a need for aggressive investment in green. But I think oil and gas, contrary to what a lot of people believe, is going to be around for quite some time. And I think transition investments are going to be important. And transition technologies and things like carbon capture and things along those lines are going to be very important over the next decade or so. Again, my opinion there, but but to say that, I think that's where a lot of these companies are going to focus a bit more on in the near term is trying to offset their carbon footprint and things like that, because that's what draws investor attention.